Don't touch that dial now, we're just getting started.
Hey, how's it going? I'm so pleased that you're here with me today. It's the first video, the first big, long speed build that I am releasing today for my grand opening. This was supposed to be on Halloween, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get it out by that time because this is Baby's first speed build. And Baby did not realize, that's me, Baby, that this was going to be such a tough build. And you would think it's just a hallway, right? Well, then you've got to build it's like a hallway and a bathroom. And you've got to think about how you're going to connect the loop, and you got to think about where would stairs go? Where would the kitchen go? What about bedrooms and other things like that? So it was a little bit of a struggle. So this speed build, even though I'm very proud of it, it is going to be a little bit all over the place. So please be gentle, please be forgiving, and just enjoy. Get yourself a beverage, chill out, let's have a chat. I might give a couple of light hot takes here and there, yeah, and just let's do it. And so, yeah, I think I wanted to, I thought, okay, I love horror. That's like my genre. So if you're ever with me, we're going to watch a movie, Asia wants to watch horror. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge scaredy cat. That's partly why I love horror, because I can't go into haunted houses, like at the Halloween haunt or something. I will respectfully stay outside while you go in, and I'll be like, oh, was it cool? Wow, yeah. And then, but I can't go in because I'm too scared. But I will definitely watch the heck out of a horror movie. And I know horror movies aren't that respected, but there's some really good ones, but also horror games as well. So horror was and is my genre. So it's kind of fun that I got to, build this house and kind of make it my own to a point too, because basically it's just a hallway that I had to build around. And even building the hallway, I had to rebuild it 500 times simply because getting spacing right, getting okay, where do I put stairs? Because there's stairs that goes upstairs, to that little area where you can see Lisa up there shivering and glitching down at you. So yeah, you can see the floor plan kind of coming together here. And I mean, I guess for me it feels like this should be a suburban home. I know that at the end of the teaser, you kind of go out and there's all this city and stuff like that. You can see Norman Reedus out there in the city and going down the street and all this, but we don't really have anything like that in The Sims. So this is just being built in Newcrest, which I guess is kind of I don't know, I guess it's suburban sort of. So I made a suburban home. And I guess I wanted this to be before everything popped off, before, before I tell you about all that, this is how I made the loop. So I made a basement. It's very rudimentary. I made a basement and then I put stairs. So you can technically go through the loop if you want to. Just go downstairs and then come back up the stairs, and then you're on the other side and you did the loop. So there you go. So if you really want to have that gameplay for some reason, you could do it. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to make this house a suburban, kind of before everything popped off. It's kind of when everything was coming to a head, where Lisa was already pregnant, and, husband was suspecting that she had an affair or something, and so tensions were mounting and things were just kind of going south. And I mean, trigger warning for domestic violence, because that's just kind of what this game lore is kind of suggesting. But basically, I'm trying to put it in a way where I don't get my video taken down. But I don't want my first video to get taken down. It's not funny. I'm just laughing because I'm nervous, and it's a touchy subject. But I mean, it's such a great thing. It's such a great playable teaser. But basically, before all the unaliving happens, it's kind of like everything is kind of unkempt. Like, you'll see towards the end where I do all the landscaping, it's very overgrown. Like, there's possibly at one point there was some gardening and stuff like that, but over the years, things just kind of, weren't picked up. Like, but I didn't want to make it as dirty and filthy as the actual teaser. In the teaser, there's like roaches and rats and mice and things, garbage everywhere, candy wrappers everywhere, black slime everywhere. And there's a little bit of black slime in the bathrooms and stuff, especially, and in the kitchen. But yeah, just not to that point in the rest of the house. But everything else, there's cracks, like water spots, mold. I mean, it's the Silent Hill universe, so there's going to be some rust. There's going to be some black sludge somewhere. But yeah, so basically, the house has three bathrooms and 2 bedrooms. It's got 3 technically, but one's a nursery for a baby. I finished the nursery, and obviously there won't be any boobahs in there because lore, storyline. But it is a completely playable lot. Everything works. I did play test it. And I'll have it up on the gallery. And in the description, I'll put what my name is if you want to download this lot. But basically, I wanted to make it like the kitchen and the bathrooms were the main places where there was a bunch of grime and rust starting and things like that. And a little bit in the nursery, because I would think that maybe that's where Lisa spends most of her time, where she's kind of allowed to kind of grieve and feel sad about her marriage and all the things that are going on, and like all the bad stuff between her and her husband and her regrets and things like that. So it was kind of a challenge trying to pick a kitchen for this particular building, because all the kitchens kind of are cute. And we've got like 1 or 2 rundown ones and some that are kind of worn, but like in a cute way. Like, so like the country living stuff is too cute, I feel. I also kind of wanted to make it like it's not the most modern build, so it's kind of like they've lived in this house for a while, but it's a bit dated. So I put some elements of that in there as well, which I love. Like, that's my thing. You'll learn as you watch my builds. I love to make a good like grandma and grandpa house or some kind of dated kind of lived in place. But yeah. I'm also very fussy as a builder, as you'll be able to see as time goes on. But in this kitchen, I kind of took some inspiration from RE7, because I feel like, and here comes a hot take, I feel like RE7 really, I wouldn't say cashed in, but like scooped up an opportunity with Silent Hills not being released, or not being completed or being put out, and they kind of like filled that hole. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love the atmosphere. I feel like it's like their interpretation, and like the original demo was so good. My God. With like the mannequin figures and all this, it was great. And so I took a lot of inspiration from that. And there were some other kind of like indie games, like I think it was like Allison Road. Is it Allison Road? Envisage. I don't even think Allison Road. I think that was just a demo. I don't even know if they came out with an actual game. It's been so long. This game and all of its like predecessors and little spiritual like little I don't know what you'd call it, but like copycats. Not really copycats. Inspirations. I guess they are so old now. So yeah. But I took a lot of inspiration from those two for the other parts of the home, or of the home. So yeah, I feel like that's something that I'm so lucky, like, to be where I am as far as being able to play all these amazing games and seeing all of these like really creative, just there's so much talent out there that people do. And I've seen a lot of crap too, like for a while there, every single indie horror game was like, but it's a loop. It's a time loop. It's a PT loop, to the point where it became a trope, But, I don't think that's a bad thing. Imitation isn't a bad thing, especially if it's done well. Obviously, I'm creating the PT house like this many years on. It's like 10 years on, maybe almost 10 years on. So, but here I wanted to make a little pantry. I just put a little curtain, and I think I wanted to make this a semi-home-y vibe. And originally I had that little doorway into the living room, but as you'll see, I'll change that here soon enough, and I'm actually going to put like a really cool detail that I love, like a little pass-through. I've already filmed one part of another series that I'm doing, and I do have quite a bit of a passionate monologue about kitchen pass-throughs. And here's the pass-through right here. I'll be taking out that doorway and just kind of like scooting along. There you go. The kitchen table. I don't know. Like, I don't love these older, like, kind of kitschy details in my own home, but I do appreciate them. Like, I think it's something that we don't really get to see very often, especially now in new builds or anything. And they just put so much time and effort and just like thought into older homes. It's something that I really appreciate. And yeah, I mean, I have almost a 100-year-old home. It's going to be 100 in 2026. And it didn't have a pass-through, which much to my chagrin, but but if it did, like, I wouldn't take it out. And I just think that newer builds, while I appreciate them and they can have some interesting things to them, they just don't have some of the loveliness and some of the uniqueness that some of the older homes have. I know that's a pretty cold take, and nobody really cares about that unless you care about that. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm putting in now the living room, kitchen, and the bathroom, like the back bathroom, and like a study area, actually. So I was just thinking, like, okay, what would this be used for? How would this flow go? And I was thinking originally putting just a bunch of bookcases, and those book nook cases, man, I use those in every single build. My God, like, they are on heavy rotation. Never gonna stop using those. I am obsessed with those, and I think I moved them over to the next wall and put a desk where. So this is all for naught, eventually. And I think I also originally had like a smaller door in the kitchen coming into the living room. I think I took that completely out as well. So you'll see that in just a little bit. But I loved, and I wish we could get more just like old furniture like this, like that TV. I think it's from oh my God, Eco Lifestyle, I'm pretty sure. like from the dumpster diving. And I think yeah, see, I took out, there you go. I just centered everything in the kitchen. There you go, pass through. You can see into the kitchen. You can see into the living room. But anyway, that TV stand as well from like that basement pack. God, what are the packs called? I have no idea. Like I said, I've been playing since The Sims 1, and all the packs start to kind of blend in together. But I want more things like that. I would love like a stuff pack full of just like old nostalgic vintage stuff, because I build like that all the time. So that would be perfect for me. I really liked the knitting, nifty knitting. Yeah, that's God. Learn the packs. I really loved that for the rocking chairs and for the knitting, but I just thought like all of that very loud. You know, like back when Maxis was doing all of that, like very loud at you, like colors and color combinations. I, like that for some builds, and for some builds that's great, but for the way that I build personally, I like these more traditional things. They're so much more versatile, but also because they're cozier to me. And let's just really be honest and say, just knock it out right now. As a millennial, I'm not an elder millennial yet, but as a mid millennial, I do love cozy things. Like, I know that I'm cringe. I know, I'm sorry. But like, yeah, it's gotta be cozy for me, even in this build. Like, if it ain't cozy, I don't gozy, that's just the way that it be sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like all that bright stuff, I guess it can be cozy. It's cheerful. And, one of my favorite colors is yellow, believe it or not. But for builds and things, sometimes I do want something that's very modern and contemporary and sleek. But most of the time, I kind of want something realistic. Because, most of our homes, unless we're like super social media people, and even some of those people, your home is just kind of like a 1984 home. And it's got all that carpet and and the drapes that kind of smell musty, and that's just the way it be sometime. So yeah, onto this kitchen. I wanted to put some knives for obvious reasons. And we have a few knives I didn't even realize, but just like only 2 knife blocks. And so I love that new chef kitchen hustle thing that we got recently. But it just wasn't appropriate for in here. So I got just the plain old base game knife block and put it there. And I love a window in kitchens. So even in the spooky kitchen, we're getting a window. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? You just gotta have it. And I also thought it would be cool too, because, if you're going through the house and it's late at night and there's spooky stuff happening, and you look out the window and you're like, oh, I saw a face or somebody was out there. Windows can be spooky too. Windows can be spooky too. Let's stop the window hate, or thinking that windows are always cheerful. It's not always the case. So yeah, put up some, again, I wish we had some tattery kind of like short window, or not windows, curtains. That would be nice, but we didn't have that. So I'm going through and I'm putting in now this busted up linoleum. Pretty sure I'm using that also in the bathroom. No, I'm using another thing in the bathroom. You'll see. I think I only filmed the main bathroom, like the flagship bathroom down in the hallway. The rest of the bathrooms look very similar. Maybe I did the top floor one, I can't remember. But anyway, we're gonna go through at the end and I'll kind of give you a tour anyway, so you'll be seeing all of those. But yeah, so I was just like, what can I use like for wallpapers and just like tiling and stuff like that? It was really tough. So because I'm fussy, it takes me forever to try to figure out what I like. And especially in a build like this, where it's kind of like, I want it to be run down, but not to the point of like, oh, it's terrible and it stinks. Because we have some very on-the-nose things. Like, there were a lot of times when I was like hemming and hawing about, okay, do I just use the Halloween pack? Because I don't want to use that. It looks very cartoonish. For like some of the tables and things like that, but luckily I did not use any of those things, because while I love them and how they're kitsch and cute, they're not exactly what I'm needing at this point. So yeah, and yeah, so I'm using all over the house for now the basement kind of grungy wallpaper. It's supposed to be like, I guess, kind of like grimy, grungy, old, just kind of white. And so here we go. Here's the bathroom. Yeah, so basically I just wanted this place to kind of look like it's been here forever. Nobody really cleans or updates that much. Maybe bare minimum cleaning because there's a lot of depression going on. You know, a lot of mental kind of like unwellness. And yeah. So I think originally I wasn't going to put a whole bunch of like stains and spills and things and just kind of like play with the lighting. But then, like I said, I had that kind of like, oh, what if I make the kind of like secluded areas where Lisa might spend a lot of time to just kind of like stew and be sad like by herself? Because I would imagine if you're with someone that's kind of not so stable and is kind of, you know, not being the nicest person to you all the time. Again, I'm putting it lightly. I'm just trying to not get this video taken down. That maybe you'd kind of want to hide your sadness or your grief or, you know, your resentment. So that's where she's doing that in the bathrooms, or like when she's preparing meals or by herself, kind of like, you know, doing all that stuff. So the bathrooms and the kitchen are the grimiest parts of the house. And a little bit in the nursery too, which we'll get to shortly here. But yeah, so I went ahead and I put, I think this is all throughout the house, is this wallpaper. And, oh yeah. So for some reason, and maybe it's custom content, I thought we had a very similar, you know, like that really old alarm clock that like everybody had, like that brown, like in the 80s and 90s, 2000s, that old, it's the same one from the game, alarm clock that had like the red digital letters on it. I thought we had that, but we don't. So I had to use this like silly chicken looking timer clock thing. And yeah, I mean, I'm using like all the packs that I have, and I have pretty much all of them except for like Batu and like a couple of other of the kits or something. And yeah, it's just really now I'm just putting some finishing touches where I need them. Like for instance, when I was looking at reference photos, I didn't realize how many just random pictures and just like prints on the walls that there are. And so there's a lot of just like nonsensical, you know, like you're about to see, I'm just putting like these pictures on the wall. And I mean, that's it. If you look in the game, I mean, obviously, like, there's not a lot of like original footage unless it's like really super old, like on YouTube or something. But a lot of the reference photos and videos that I saw are of remakes. So it's going to be nearly impossible to it's kind of like playing telephone, where it's kind of like, okay, this remake, they did the best they could with what they had. And so it's kind of like, I don't know how accurate to the original that a lot of these are, like placements or a number of, but I did my best. Oh yeah, and I did hide, which I don't know if I have the footage of, I did hide like a little hole behind that picture that's like right by the bathroom that I just placed a bit ago. So you'll see that hopefully here soon. And also, I think we need landlines. Now, I don't necessarily mean like functioning landlines, even though I don't think that would be bad, but I would love it because I actually had to use, I don't remember what pack it's from, but it's like that lunchbox thing. It has like a old, it's from the basement kit, of course, again. To put here on this bureau table. And I mean, it fits pretty well because it's kind of like that junky look, but it's kind of like, why is there a lunchbox? Nobody knows, but it fits. It's fine, you know. But hey, how hard would it be to have a landline? Because there are some times when you do have like older people or just whatever, like maybe if you're out in the country or something, you don't get cell service and you need a phone. People want to build like that. People being me. I want to build like that. You know, it's a need. The people are wanting it. People are me, and I want it. so do it. I know there are all kinds of mods, but I didn't want to put any mods in this particular build. And I think on my channel I will be building with mods. Like one of my first series that I'll have out, I'll be using a specific custom content pack. And I think I kind of want to go that route where I can kind of credit and kind of showcase the custom content on my channel because I feel like a lot of the times custom content makers need a shout out and they need to be featured because they are very talented. Like I couldn't do any of the things that they do. Fun fact, I used to run a Tumblr, a couple years ago, and I went by Asia Lee Simsy. Shout out to y'all if you remember all that tumultuousness that I used to have on there. But yeah, so I have been using custom content like just forever, and it's like what we get from EA and what we can get from custom content makers, it's not a hot take, it's just the truth. Like it is apples and oranges, you know. I know that recently EA has been, or Maxis has been like working with custom content creators, which I really appreciate because it's kind of like, you know, there are so many talented people out there and so many things you can add to the game. I don't know everything about game programming and modding and things like that. But it seems like if custom content creators can make things happen, why can't the company that makes the game? I don't know. That's not really a hot take either because everyone pretty much feels like that out there. That being said, I don't like to poo-poo the game as much as some other people do. I think sometimes it's very easy to get on the bandwagon of like Maxis hate, EA hate, you know, and I think that everyone's just doing the best that they can. I know that EA is a little bit greedy, yes. But like, I think everyone's just doing the best that they can. These are actual working people here that are really trying to do well, and they're trying to provide for their families, and for that I can't really hate, and it's something that I have been enjoying for a very long time, and so it's brought me a lot of joy in my life. So I don't really like to poo-poo things a lot, and I'm not saying that people who do poo-poo things don't have a point for some of the things. I just know that sometimes on the internet, oh yeah, there's the phone with the lunchbox. Anyway, sometimes people can be a little bit, you know, just misery loves company. We'll just say that. And I'm just not that kind of person. I guess I can be. I love a little gossip, but I don't like to just be nasty or be mean or be negative just to do it. It's just not for me. At the age that I'm at, I'm okay. You know, and also I'm a mom. That's why I'm Mama Simsy. And I have a 3-year-old, well, soon to be 3-year-old little girl. And I just, you know, I don't want to put that out there. I don't want to be like that, you know. It can be really fun. Like I said, a little bit of gossip, yeah, it's okay. But, I just want to be chill. I just want to relax. I just want to talk about fun things, cozy things. Like I said, cozy or no gozy. I don't know. I'm going to be cringe about it, but I just want to chill, and I don't want to have all this, well, they just money grabbing, they get their hands rubbing together. And, it's like, okay, chill. It's a game. You don't have to buy anything that you don't want. I do think that it's a little bit iffy when there are packs that come out that don't work because people are spending money on that. I think that needs to be addressed. Even though it's been several years, they don't work properly. Or like banisters are not working. It feels like there's a lot of things that like can be fixed that get kind of like pushed to the wayside or kind of fall between the cracks. I know that the company is working really hard to kind of get in on that, but at the same time, it feels, at least for a while there, it felt like there was just a new kit coming out one after the other, hand over fist before some of this stuff got fixed. And did I buy the kits? Yes, a lot of them. But I'm not going to recommend that everyone does. I buy the ones that I like, and I buy them with my own money. This is a brand new channel. I get nothing yet from this channel. Probably, will be a long time before I do, if ever. But I'm always going to tell you how I feel and the truth about those things. And most of the time, I'm really excited about new things, and I'm really glad when they do fix things, So I guess for me, it just feels like with anything, there's good and there's bad. All right, yeah. So I got some of this water staining going in, and kind of like scuff marks and holes, and again, it's kind of like that cosmic Silent Hill yuckiness that just kind of eats away, like that mental health nastiness just kind of like eats away at the walls and kind of turns everything kind of rusty and Silent Hillish, so I think, like there's like a couple places where it looks like maybe the wall has been punched or things are just kind of crumbling. I think one thing we do need is like, and I think I've looked in like live edit and I don't really see too much of it, is like little like wall, like plaster crumbles or something for the floor. I know that's very specific. I don't know why they would need that, or like little rocks or something. And maybe I could have like jiggled and fudged my way into it, but it just feels like we need some kind of like overlay of dust and debris or something. I don't know, because it's not often that I would use them, but when you need them, like, it's nice to have. And for me, in builds like this, like live edit and debug are my very best friend, because they are just invaluable to making the atmosphere. And also, I just want to say, I'm sorry if this is a bit dark for everyone, but I like that. I like to play with the lights because I feel like I like really bright builds and things, but I also kind of like it being a bit moodier, being a little bit like, this is a home of depression and pain and things, and I feel like this wouldn't be just a cheerful, bright lit home, on top of, I think I do end up putting some of the red light accents in some of the halls and stuff. If you know, but yeah, like when you go through and you have like the red lights and stuff, I did put a few of those in as well. I think I'm wrapping up the kitchen here and just putting in some last minute touches, like a rug and things like that. But yeah, see, I've already put the red light out, it looks like, in the hallway. So here's where I put the holes that were behind the picture in the bathroom. Kind of give it some good realism of the teaser. And maybe like starting to put some damage and things like that around. So again, this is kind of like representing like her sadness and all the kind of things that are happening with her and in her life. And you know, it's just kind of a visual representation of all of that, which I thought was really fun to do. I know it's not a fun subject, but it's kind of fun to make things scary or grimy. And I did end up changing the color to like that rusty color because, again, Silent Hill, rust, you know. It goes hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. So, grimy, black sludge, and rust, peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, so what is your favorite Silent Hill game? Or if you're not into Silent Hill, what's your favorite scary game? Silent Hill has always been one of my favorites since I was a kid, the franchise. And for me, it's number 2. Like, Silent Hill 2, you know, classic, best for me. Yeah, the remake is coming out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about it. How are you feeling about it? I mean, I'm excited. I just, you know, I'm holding out hope that it might be okay. We'll see. I don't want to give too many hot takes, and I don't want to be judgmental before we see it. Yeah. So I put this light above the sink because, again, I think that's pretty. It gives more light in here, but also I think it's pretty accurate to an older kind of like country style kitchen would have something like this. You can wash up the dishes, you know, at night time after dinner. But I did dim down the light a lot, so you kind of see that. And I do switch between night and day a lot in here. So if that kind of bothers anybody, I'm really sorry. It's just I like to see all of the details and all the little things so I can see how they'll look both in daylight and in the dark or dim light of the evening. I put this calendar, I don't know, I just thought this dog looks creepy. You know, like he's cute, but he's also creepy. So that was cool. Putting in a finishing touch here with this bookcase, kind of like at a jaunty angle, a little bit skewed. And yeah, so these lights, see, this is a good example. I wish we had these lights, but like without the messed up, you know, like to the side. I don't mind the flickering, but maybe if we could have a swatch where it's like straight up, or maybe we could have like 2 different objects where it's like flickering and to the side, and then like a regular one without the flickering and just regular straight up lampshade. I don't know, maybe that's too much to ask. And I'm sure there's probably some custom content out there that has that, but I'm not using that at this time. And I'm just putting in some more traditional objects into this room to kind of finish it. I think for me, the hardest part of all of this is just trying to make it look like a cohesive family home. But just also trying to put in and portray the mood of everything. Oh yeah, so I do have a bag. You can see it was the Zoomer's delivery bag at first. Yeah, but I eventually changed it to this particular lunch bag because I wanted to kind of give it that realness, you know, from the original starting PT room. The grimy talking bag. So sized it up with the tool mod a little bit and just kind of left it there. I don't know if it'll start to stink. And maybe if it does, that'll be like even better. I don't know. I didn't give it enough time. So yeah, this is the starting room. Hid the stairs behind a wall. It's not perfect. Again, it's just rigged up, however, because you can't really make a looping room without mods probably in The Sims 4. So yeah, adding ceiling textures. I just used that gravel in the lightest, I think, which I really like because I've been using that a lot in my builds for the ceilings. It feels like it's more textured and a little bit darker than just the plain white ceiling that we get like default. Yeah. So let's see. This upstairs, I just feel like, you know, again, what is it going to be used for? And in an older house like this, there's probably going to be like a little bit of an entertainment sit down area, but then there's mostly just going to be bedrooms and a bathroom, nothing spectacular, nothing special. And these people probably aren't the richest people out there. Just a normal middle class family and with all the problems. But here is the balcony area where you could see Lisa jiggling. And then the layout of this home made it to where I wasn't sure what to do. I wanted to make like this weird little balcony thing off of the main bedroom, but I went back and I kind of changed it so that it just kind of blends in with the house, which you'll see later. I don't know, it was just like an odd space. And because of how this is, like how the two connecting, like loop rooms, it was just like an odd thing. So I went ahead and I just kind of like fiddled with it for 500 hours. And then we ended up making it work in the end. So yeah, just putting in some lights now so that we can actually see what we're working with. And yeah, I think I go back and I change these windows because the thing with these windows is that I think I used them downstairs. I think originally I'd use like the cats and dogs windows, but then I like these a little bit better. There was nothing that really matched the game as well, and I didn't want to make them as big as the cats and dogs windows. So yeah, this is, I think it's from high school years. Can't tell. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, but this is where I was going to put in that weird balcony thing you'll see in a bit. So I'm putting on like these walk-in closets on the two main bedrooms. And then I put a fence, if you can see that, in the back. And it just, I don't know. This reminded me of like a condo apartment building or something out the back. And it just is odd. And you'd have to like access it from the main bedroom's closet. It is just an odd choice. So I just walled it up and just kind of made some fake windows in the end, which you'll see. But yeah, it wasn't hitting right, so we did repair it a bit. Yeah, I don't know. But I was just kind of thinking like I would see it, like that kind of weird little balcony. I could have seen it in like Silent Hill, like somebody standing up there or something. If you go out the back, I don't know, but it didn't end up working. It didn't translate well because I feel like what goes on in my mind and what you can actually do in The Sims 4 is completely different. It's the same thing with like real life homes versus The Sims 4. Like a lot of things that might work in The Sims 4, you've got to simify because it's going to look strange. It's going to not be the right proportions. It's going to be off. So yeah. Here's the upstairs bathroom. Excuse me. I wanted to put one of these tubs with like the wraparound shower curtain because I like the halo thing, because I kind of thought that would be fun to kind of like, it's always close and then it's like, oh, is there someone behind there? Oh, scary, spooky, so I boot my mic. I'm emoting too much and I boot my mic. So yeah, so we've got that going on. Again, I'm putting the wallpaper and being indecisive about wallpaper, especially for the bathrooms and stuff. I'm so picky when it comes to things. Like, I don't know. It's got to look right. I'm a perfectionist. What can I say? I don't know. Oh, yeah. So this towel thing by the sink reminds me, the hand towel rest. When I was rewatching Casper recently on Netflix. Have y'all seen it? Have y'all like rewatched that now as adults? Sorry, this is so gross. The main dad character, like he goes and he washes his face in the sink, and then like there's this dank, dirty, crusty old cobweb towel, and he just like wipes his face on it like it's no big deal. And I'm like, oh my god, like what is happening? Why have you done this? This is disgusting. Like, I was put out of my own house because of how disgusted I was by that. It was not right. So when I placed that, that's what I had in mind. And then yeah, just kind of played with the lights a bit here, putting in some dirty spots and things. I think besides the main bathroom downstairs in the hallway, this is the one that I actually enjoyed making the most. I made the other one downstairs too, but it's just like a small shower room. But this one I thought, like, this is where a lot of the sadness goes on, because it's right by the bedroom. Maybe they have an argument and there's all these cracks in the walls and water damage and just like pee pee poo poo spots near the toilet because nobody's cleaning it, and because there's too much depression going on. Relatable. And then all these like grimy, smudgy, moldy stains on the walls. Silent Hill realness. That's what it's giving here. And then yeah, so I think for me the thing is it's like most of us have gone through some kind of episode when it comes to depression and things like that. And you know what? Like, if you've gone through that and you've survived it, you are so strong, so brave. Like, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep on it, but it's kind of like, maybe we will on the channel, because I think that's why Silent Hill speaks to me so much, is because ultimately at the end of the day, yeah, spoopy, yeah, it's all, this and that, but it's about human lives and how they are imperfect, and, how monsters can literally be made because of people not taking care of their business and not taking care of themselves and doing the work they need to heal, and the pain that is caused by that, serious. It's serious, and it's real life, but it's made into, this amazing, fantasy of horror. Oh, there's the red light. There you go. Spook it up. So I think now I started working on the baby's room. And for me, this was really tough. Like, originally in the game, the baby is talking to us with a man's voice, and it is laying in the sink. It's not fully formed, and there's a reason why. We will know that reason in the context of if you've ever seen or played the playable teaser. And so the baby's room, I of course have had my own child now, and even back then, because I hadn't had a child by that time, but it was just tough. The baby's cries and things like that, it was just really tough to hear it. Like, even now, I'm just a big old sap anyway. Like, I can't take kids getting hurt or whatever. Like, I can't take true crimes about, especially now, kids getting hurt or things happening to babies or kids. So it really stuck with me. I think I'm taking it too personally and too far. But so making the baby's room is just so sad. Like, it's so sad because it's never going to really be used for what it was made for. And you think about it, a nursery is made for, it's made in hope of, this little baby, this little infant, this child coming into your life and being a family with you. You get to cherish this child. And then a nursery like this, it just sits here, It's just really sad. Sorry to be a downer, but that's just how I feel about it. I've got to make it spooky, though. So I did put some little nicks and tears and little cracks of some instability coming through, because I would imagine that maybe, it's kind of like implied that maybe the baby, the main character for the PT game teaser, he's kind of thinking like maybe the baby isn't his, and so maybe if it's not his, maybe Lisa has come in here and she's kind of like thinking about some sad stuff. And so I think that kind of seeps into the walls and kind of makes some mold. I mean, on top of maybe the roof just isn't taken care of, and there's all kinds of roots and things going into the siding and, you know, into the foundation of the house, and it just kind of creeps into everything, you know. If I think about it, why do I even like Silent Hill? It's depressing. It's depressing. But you know what? I love it. Like, I love it. I don't love the depressing stuff. I like it on the surface, you know, and I like all the scariness and how creepy it is. But yeah, so again, I'm just trying to fit everything into how I think, my interpretation of how maybe the upstairs would have looked. And I wasn't sure which direction to go into, so I do try like a million lights and little things here and there in the hallway. And I settled on like some greeting cards and things like that. Maybe, as I always just think, life isn't just sad stuff all the time. Like, sometimes we do have good and nice occasions, even when you're not in such a great place, you know. You might get a greeting card from somebody, your family member or friend or something like that. So I kind of did put some nice cute things up here and there up here, simply because it's kind of like maybe someone was trying, you know, at some point, and then it just kind of got eaten by the rust, you know. I think I made this lot filthy or like creepy crawly or whatever, basically. So there should be like some bugs that spawn and some mice or rats or whatever that spawn as well. So yeah. Let me see. This, I think I put on the greeting cards. Now I'm doubting myself. Like I said, we'll do a complete walkthrough. Yeah, I did put the greeting cards, but we'll do a complete walkthrough and tour, because a lot of this up here that I completed for the hallway, I didn't include in the footage because I just kind of felt like there's other more important things that I can put, and this is not like the most important thing to do. But I did show the completion of this little area here. So I think we also need some more like framed, well, I guess if you have Moschino stuff, I was gonna say we need some framed photographs for like the base game, like some updated swatches on that, because I'm having to use like the fruits, the butterflies, which is great, and they're generic. And I think like there is one of those like band or like football or basketball, the unlockable photographs that kind of like sit on the desk. So I've used those a couple of different times, but we do need some more of those, I feel. Petition for those. So we're moving on to the main bedroom here, and I've darkened it up, as you can see, much of your chagrin. I know a lot of people don't like seeing dark stuff in Sims builds, and I get it. Like, a lot of the base game builds were super dark and weird for no reason. But I feel like this particular build, it needs to be dark. You know, there's a reason it needs to be dark. Putting in some cold lighting, because I felt like it's supposed to be a bedroom in that juxtaposition. In fact, I think most of the lighting is cold, except for downstairs in like the main hallway, where I do have that warmer lighting. And I think I actually mixed warm and like the blue. I made like the bathrooms to have this weird greenish tint to them, because I kind of wanted it to be like, it kind of adds to the nasty filthiness of everything and the kind of the unnaturalness of it. But yeah, so again, we'll see a lot of the lighting and things that I've used. So you can always, if you download it, you can always change it to a brighter whatever thing. I think it would be cool too if you guys want to, you know, if you are a builder and you want to make this house like renovated or clean it up or make it more dirty or whatever, like tag me, you know, I'd love to see it. It'd be so fun to kind of tour some of these for the PT house, and some of what you guys kind of do with it. Yeah, again, I'm having to recycle through a lot of these pictures because like downstairs they have a lot of these weird kind of like gallery wall situations, so I just kind of thought, well, they would probably do that upstairs in their other rooms as well, so that's what we did. And I love these curtains. I think they're from Cats and Dogs, pretty sure. And like I use them all the time. Like when I first got the pack, I never really used them. I'm like, that's the grandpa stuff. But you know what? Now, like that's all I'm building. It's not really, but like it feels like it. Yeah, and I'm reusing that lamp as well. I used it downstairs in the main hall, but I'm using it here because like it's perfect. And we need more. We need more. I just like I'm again petition for more old grimy Sims 4 packs and things like that, or a pack. Just give me a pack, not a kit. Like I want more than a kit. Like the basement stuff was great, but I need like more. I need more stuff pack. Yeah, so I mean here it's just making the main bedroom look like it's functional. I didn't want to put too much stuff because, again, I wanted it to be usable. And, I mean, it's just a basic bedroom. I put a couple of, like, tchotchkes and knickknacks and things like that on the bedside tables eventually. And I will say the walk-in closet, well, for both of the rooms, both the bedrooms, they are a little bit cluttery. So I think they're usable. Like the wardrobes and stuff that are inside of them, like I put some hanging stuff. But if they're not, we do have wardrobes in the actual bedrooms themselves. So yeah, here's the main bedroom's walk-in closet. I struggled a bit. I struggled with this whole build because because I struggle, but life is a struggle. But just trying to get things to go the way I wanted them to. We don't have a lot of things that I feel kind of would go in a house like this. Everything is kind of modern because it's all from like Dream Home Decorator, like a lot of the closet stuff. But I made it work in the end. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, so I think we just need more, like more of these kind of like furniture, cluttery, closety, just everyday knick-knack type of stuff, which I really appreciate that kit that came out for the everyday clutter, bathroom clutter, basement clutter, more of that kind of stuff, but maybe not kits. I mean, I get it. I just feel like kits, there's not enough like things in it, because maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just hoarding stuff. Maybe I'm just like a secret Sims hoarder and I need more. But I just feel like there's so much like sleek, modern, contemporary stuff, which is fair and valid. We need that, right? But I feel like at the same time, it's like, where's my traditional stuff? Where's all the stuff that, you'd have in a traditional home? And I know a lot of that is in the base game stuff, but a lot of that is just so, like, it's so bad. Like, they have really improved the way that, like, the assets look now. And I feel like a lot of that stuff is just kind of throwaway to where I can't really use it. It looks kind of crap alongside some of the newer Maxis stuff. I know that's really mean to say, but and I know that they've refreshed and like recolored a lot of that stuff, which I really appreciate. But yeah, it's like some of that is just like so pixely or just odd, or the colors are weird, and yeah, it's just, we need like some kind of traditional furniture and clutter like stuff pack, and I'll be very happy with that. I kind of came to this build with the idea of like, if this were an indie game that I made, how would I furnish it? If this was my version of PT, like how would I furnish it? So I took, like I said, a lot of liberty in inspiration of games that kind of were the predecessors of PT and kind of like were inspired heavily by PT. So this particular sitting room was inspired by a screenshot that I found from, I think the game is called Visage, way back and a few years ago. And it's not exactly like, but it's just it's pretty heavily inspired by that. And I just like the way it was. It's just kind of like, why is there an odd little sitting room over here? Well, just because there is, and that's just the way it is. I don't know. I like the quirkiness of some of the indie games where they have assets to use and they have like extra space, it feels like, or they need something for a specific puzzle. And it seems like I'm saying this in a bad way, but I'm actually saying I really like it. And it's just kind of like, oh, here's an extra sitting space with a plant, or something like that. And I just really like it because in a weird way, it's kind of like the interpretation of what a house would be like, most houses are very straight to the point, and they don't have little extra sitting rooms upstairs, which honestly, though, some of them do, because I'm going to go back to my whole rant and spiel about older homes. And there are a lot of older homes where you do just kind of have some like upstairs space where you just have a chair or something, and who's hanging out in that chair, I'm not sure, but like you do have one. You do have like a little space or a nook or something, or a bookcase, So I guess in that way, that's kind of what this interpretation would be in these games. So I'll give it to you there. But yeah, so I end up changing the color of that chair and this couch because I feel like the couch is really nice and I like it. It is a very traditional couch. But then I felt like, it's too cheerful. It's too cheerful for what I want right now in this particular home. So in this house, there are a ton of these tables, like side tables. They're pretty much everywhere. And that's just because I feel like it's everywhere in PT. Like you have those two main ones, like in the hallway, there's like two bureau tables, like media tables. I don't know what they're called, but like, yeah, we've got them. So why not put more, So I think like there's a total of like 4 or 5 or 6 in this house. You want some tables? We got tables. We got them. We got the tables. So yeah, I'm putting up some more gallery wall stuff here, and putting a little bit of clutter like on this side table, because again, I would imagine after an argument, they come up here and they just cool off, have a cigarette or something. Like, I don't know, do people have cigarettes they smoke? Oh, I guess in PT, I think there was like a lot of ashes and like cigarette butts and stuff, so there you go. But we don't have that in The Sims, so none of that. Nope. Yep, just putting on some of these curtains so you can't really see out as well. Again, it was like, do I use those curtains or do I use the very like chewed up Halloween pack kind of cartoony, curtains? Yeah. Oh yeah, so I changed the couch out for that couch. I feel like that couch is a little bit more run down, a little bit more stained looking. Yeah, so a lot of people have been sitting on that with their bare butt, and they did not take a bath. Even if they did, the bathtub was probably gross, so they didn't really get that clean. So why am I like this? What am I talking about right now? I don't know. Oh yeah, I used this werewolf mirror. I really like the crack in it. Again, someone either punched it through something, I don't know, and it got broken. I like that touch. It's just the right touch. Wish we had doors that were more like had some issues with it. I know you can overlay some of those like cracks and like things like that over the doors, but I didn't do that. Sometimes I think it looks a bit strange. I didn't want to kind of mess with that too much, and plus I didn't know if that was going to mess up the flow of going in and out of the doors. But here's the spare room or the guest room. And I love that horse pack where they have that mirrored wardrobe. Oh my god, that's like in every grandma house. My grandma had one. Oh, it's the best. And it's things like that we need. So I'm loving that. I got the recliner from the basement pack. See what I mean? Okay, so that lamp is base game, and you see how like lumpy and just kind of basic and just it looks like I made it. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just saying I'm not good at making custom content or like assets. And I mean that's probably better than what I can make to be real, but like it looks like that compared to like these lamps here or anything else in this room, it just looks so bad. I don't know how else to put it. That's negative. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't look good. But I do like it. I did use it because it's very plain. I think I changed the swatch to the brown swatch. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But yeah, so I went back through and I added in some kind of like wallpaper. You know, not wallpaper, wallpaper. Because I wanted it to, again, look very dated, busy. And I could see in the Silent Hill universe, like, this kind of stuff being in the bedrooms, you know. So I'm going in and I'm adding some scuffs, some nicks, some scratches, things like that, tales to be told from within the walls of this house. Yeah, so here's some cracks. In the original PT hallway, there aren't a lot of scratches on the walls and things like that. So I think that's because I interpret it in the way of like these rooms here are more like people live in them. And so maybe they get a little bit more emotion in them. Oh, here we go. Putting in the child's room wallpaper. Just waiting for the beige dinosaurs, honestly. All right, we're on the exterior. Here we go. This was tough because, you know, the roofing line on this, how can we roof? What do roof? I don't know. It was tough. But I figured it out in the end. It took me like a long time. Like, see, like that. Like, why would I put that there? I took it off, but like, you know, why? Nobody knows. In the end, we did get there. It was just a struggle. Struggle Fest 2023 into Struggle Fest 2024. That's how long it was. And yeah, so I had to put this like roof piece on to connect everything. I think it looks pretty okay from the outside. But again, that side is actually where the like big long stretch of the hallway is. So there's no windows here. In fact, the windows on the outside were kind of like an issue for me because I was like, well, this looks strange. Like a lot of the house doesn't have windows where there should be windows, where you might think that there's windows. Oh yeah, here, I'm putting that weird door on. There you went. Why would I put that there? What would that have anything to do with it? And I thought, Asia, no, baby, don't do it. So I think I went and I took it off. I think I have it on screen. If not, again, we'll take the tour and you'll see more about that. But I put these dormers on. It's supposed to be a suburban house. Thought that was a nice touch. And I think that the shape and the layout didn't actually look too bad for what's going on the inside. And I was trying to match the roof and the trim to those dormers. And it's not an exact match, but it'll do because that's what we're working with here without custom content. So yeah, I just made it a beige siding suburban house because it's just supposed to be very nondescript, very normal, but it's overgrown, which I'm starting to put all that stuff now. And yeah, it's just Silent Hill. It's supposed to be a normal town, but everything is just kind of rusty and just kind of off, and there's just like monsters and stuff, depending upon who you are. So yeah, that's how I kind of like got through not having any windows there on the side, is just putting a bunch of like overgrown ivy and stuff. And over here, I thought it would be kind of cool, like maybe there at one point was like a rose bush that somebody planted, but now it's kind of like overgrown and it's starting to overtake that side of the house. And there's going to be like a lot of weeds and things like that. So you'll kind of see as we go. That's just kind of sad because, this could have been a family home, and, it's just, again, all that mental stuff. This is what happens. Silent Hill is what happens when you don't work on. I mean, no, it's not. But it's the extreme, Yeah, so I'm just using some of the live edit fence stuff here to kind of make a little bed. Because again, I think maybe there was a little flower bed here or something, where people actually planted things and took the trouble. Oh, there's the rose bush. To make things nice at one point. Can you imagine, like, you buy the PT house, like they fix it up, and they have to, like, okay, imagine this. Here we go. This is the haunted house. It's a haunted house. It's the PT house, but they replaced all of the hardwood flooring with gray luxury vinyl and painted everything gray and white. All of the outside is now. It now looks like a Chipotle. It's gray. It's dark gray and black. Oh, that's so scary. Oh, I'm just. Have you noticed that, like, every house that's been flipped, like, that's what it looks like now? Like, why is every house a Chipotle? It looks like Darth Vader's Chipotle grill. And you know what? I'm being mean. If that's your style, you go do it. You do you. And you know what? I'm sure that it's good. And you know what? I also think gray is not a bad color, but I think it's very overused right now. And we don't need that death slate gray to be everything. There can be other colors too. And that's a good thing. And I know that's what sells because it makes things look new and not. Oh, I booped my mic again. I know it makes things look new and nice and whatever, but at the same time, and I'm speaking from experience because there's a house that's near me. And I'm describing because I'm really sad about the house. There was an older man that lived in the house, and he eventually moved out recently to live with family. And his house, it was like this dark blue with white trim, and it needed to be painted again, but it was like, crisp at one point. It looked crisp. And the people that were selling it in his family, they just turned it into Darth Vader Chipotle. Like, it's like slate gray, just black, white trim, and it just looks like they just sucked all the color out. Like a giant vampire came and started sucking on the house, and it's like Bunnicula. Do y'all know Bunnicula? That rabbit, like he'll go and he'll like suck all the color out of the carrots and like the fruits and vegetables and stuff. But it's like House Bunnicula. And it's really sad for me. Yeah, so in the neighborhood and the area that I'm in, like there's a lot of historical homes, and it's like that. Like it's like you have all these nice, like, interesting, original colors homes, and then you have Darth Vader Chipotle, and it's just really sad for me. So I want my burrito. All right, so yeah, we've got some overgrown bushes going on here. Nothing really to say. I mean, you can just see what's happening. It's just a bunch of overgrown stuff. Thank goodness for live edit, because that is where I got a lot of this stuff from. A lot of it is just like stuff from around the world, which I didn't even know we had. And it's just really nice for making kind of dilapidated, not well-maintained homes and buildings and stuff. Yeah. I know in the old home that we used to live in, and there was, I think I have to change it out because I think that goes into the house, that like thing that was hugging the building there. But anyway, we had this like overgrown ivy, because like English ivy here in the United States where I live, when it takes over everything, like it is very invasive and it just like eats into everything. So we were living in a rental house, and we would maintain the like yard and stuff, but we just like we were just like, yeah, let that grow. That's not really our responsibility. But it like overtook like the back, and it went up the wall and like over the there was like a sunroom in the back, and it like overtook the window. It was nuts. Like that stuff goes crazy. So I'm imagining that kind of that's what's happening here in this particular yard. So we're about to wrap up the video. It's just a little bit more putting in some trees, putting in some bushes, putting in some, I think I put in a fence as well from Live Edit, which again, thank goodness for Debug and Live Edit, because there are so many neat fences and details and things that you wouldn't normally get from just the regular item catalog. So if you don't know about that, get in on that. You don't have to have any kind of cheats or, well, I guess it's a cheat. We don't have to have any like custom content or mods or anything to get that. So yeah. Putting in some more ivy. And I didn't mind if it went up on the windows, like kind of overlap the windows a bit, because I think that's pretty realistic. Like I said, where we were living, that kind of did happen. Putting in some vines here where it's kind of like crawling up. I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah. Have you guys ever seen a house like this? Have you ever seen like a derelict house where we were living before? Oh yeah, okay, well, hold that thought. So I took that awful balcony off and I put these windows on the back. They don't go to any place, but I just covered them with those like cafe curtains so you can't really see in, but it just fits better. It's just kind of a facade, but it looks better. There you go. Anyway, where I used to live was a major city, and it had a lot of derelict houses that were kind of like this, kind of like suburban derelict. Not really to the point of being like, well, maybe they were like not habitable, but some people were living in some of these houses and in kind of the rougher neighborhoods. So yeah, these do exist. Here's the fencing that I was putting in. Really like this fencing. It took me a while to find it. It's from Country Living, simply just because, yeah, I mean, all the other fencing was just kind of too nice, too cheerful, too modern. And this was just a plain type of fence. Like, it's a picket fence, but it's not painted. So again, it's kind of like somebody wanted that white picket fence, but they never got to the painting of it, you know? I had a hard time with finding out how I wanted to do the walkway, and I think it turned out well in the end here, but I tried paving it. I tried putting different types of pavers. It just looked really strange, so I ended up putting a rock path and putting some terrain paint. Now, I did terrain paint around all of the trees and the plants and the home and the house and everything like that. I did that off camera just because, you know, I mean, I guess you could watch like 5 more minutes of that, but this video is long enough as it is. You'll be able to see it anyway whenever we go through our walkthrough in a little bit. So I'm going to be wrapping up here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Again, I'll leave in the description box my gallery ID so that you can go and download this if you want to. And have a good spooky Halloween, or if it's past Halloween, which it probably is, have a good spooky year. You know, sometimes it's just spooky year. Thanks so much for watching. Again, this is my first video, so be kind. Drop me a comment, subscribe. I really appreciate that. I'll be coming out with a lot more things. It probably won't be horror related necessarily, but some of it might be. But we're just going to be cozying it over here. That's what we do on this channel. We're just cozying it all day. Thank you for watching again. Have a lovely week.